Hi guys, Marshall here, back from my uploading hiatus. I'll make an update video right after this one probably, but for now, let's rank every single Zelda game, because why not? So, before we begin, I'd like to mention today's sponsor, subscribing and liking. And that's usually with all honesty. Please like and subscribe, it really helps me out, especially when I'm just a small channel. And yeah, so let's begin. How about we start off with where the whole entire Zelda series began, Zelda 1. If it will get it. I honestly feel like Zelda 1 is a very C tier kind of game. It's the original game, and it's great and it's fun. It was good for its time. It was revolutionary. However, it's a bit outdated, but it's still a really fun game to play. And if you have a Nintendo Switch Online service, I'd recommend giving this one a shot. Now, Zelda 2. I wish I could say the same thing. Okay, so Zelda 2 is the pinnacle of outdated game design. It is easily one of the most frustrating games I think I've ever played. And Nintendo even says themselves that they regret making it, so I think that speaks volumes. But, you know, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online server, just put 5 minutes into it, you'll see what I'm saying very easily. So, yeah. Then, now we're moving to the Super Nintendo, Link to the Past. Now, I haven't really played much of this one, but from what I have played, it's a really solid game. And I honestly have to say it's B tier. Because this is... Oh, no, that's Four Swords. What the heck? Oh my gosh, where is this thing? Oh, there it is, the little pesky rascal. Oh, how did all these games get here? Hang on. Okay, B tier game. It is very good. The music is great. The graphics, it has some of the best pixel art I've ever seen. And it has a decent story. The dungeons are quite fun. The bosses are good. And this is in my eyes, the first true evolution to Zelda. Because I feel like every other game after it kind of like followed in its footsteps in some way or another. Because it set some, locations like Kakariko Village, Hyrule Castle, Hyrule Field, and it just set like a record for Zelda games, and it even was inspiration for the sequel, A Link Between Worlds, which we will get to. Now, to another Zelda game, Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. Now, let's put this one at right after that one, because I feel like this one is it's very different, and not in a bad sense. It's great. I love how it has all these wacky Mario characters, and Kirby is even in it for some weird reason. And I honestly feel like it's a really fun game to play, but it's definitely not as developed as A Link to the Past, because it feels like the game was sort of... Well, it actually was. It was made in someone's free time. It was made in a bunch of people's free time, and they just ended up liking the game, so they made it a full product. But I feel like if it was given the proper development of a real Zelda game, it would definitely be a higher tier, but for now, B tier. Okay, now Ocarina of Time. This is on my top 3 favorite games of all time. Up there with Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, Mario Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, and this one. This game is phenomenal. The dungeons are perfect. The game design, perfect. Everything is near perfection. Now, this game isn't without its faults, though. I do admit that sometimes some of the side quests can be a little, aggravating, kind of like the one to get the Big Goron sword. And there's some things that are like just like not actually in the game that would have made the game good. Like maybe if there was more like locations to actually visit in the game, because there's only Lake Hylia, the Lost Woods, Hyrule Field, Hyrule Castle, Zora's Domain, and Death Mountain. Those are like, from the top of my head I believe, those are the only locations in the game, and this is an N64 game, and what it does, it perfects. Now a lot of other Zelda games, they add more, but this is like perfect. This is just absolutely perfect in my eyes. This is my opinion only, by the way, for this list. So I will put this in the description if you want to make your own. So everyone's opinion is different. Sorry, I didn't mention that at the beginning. And here we go to our next game, Majora's Mask. So Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for me is right at the top of B tier. And I know, it's a fan favorite, and it has one of the best storylines of any Zelda game. I can agree with that. The story is beautiful as all heck. However, I just don't like being on a time limit. And I feel like the challenges in video games that I hate the most are time challenges. Because when I play a video game, I want to take my own time to play it, and I want to explore at my own pace. But when I feel like I'm timed, I feel like it just ruins that whole factor of the game for me. It ruins the immersion of being in a world. No. Like, the immersion of this game is great, but I don't know, like, when I play, it kind of ruins the immersion for me. But everyone's opinion is different, and that's okay. Also, this game has only technically five dungeons in it, and I feel like they're kind of just okay. They're not the best dungeons. I've only gotten up to I've done the first two dungeons, and I'm in the middle of the water dungeon, or I forgot what it's called, the Great Bay Temple. And I honestly it's a water temple level in a Zelda game. It's terrible. But I feel like the other dungeons are decent. I like the Snowhead dungeon. I really want to try the Akana dungeons, because I ran out of time in the Great Bay dungeon, and I was trying to get my way through Akana. So if I can do that, that would be really. I honestly feel like the dungeons in that one are pretty fun sounding, like Stone Tower Temple. And maybe that will change my opinion on the game. And maybe I'll make a revised video of this once I finish every Zelda game. But for the most part, I've played a pretty decent chunk of every single Zelda game on this list. So, now to our next game, Oracle of Ages. This one is probably, I'd say it's better than Link's Awakening, because I feel like it improved most of that. And also, it's like a 2D Ocarina of Time. And I didn't talk about this in Ocarina of Time, but I'm going to talk about this for both games, because they both feature the same thing. There's a past and a future. When Ocarina is a Time case, can't speak. In Ocarina of Time's case, it's when you become there's an adult world where Link's an adult, and Ganon took over, and there's a kid world where Link's a kid, and Ganon is yet to take over. And you have to go between these worlds in both of these games. Well, in Oracle of Ages, it's not Ganon taking over; it's just the future. I love going in between the back to the past and the future and solving puzzles like that, because it's really, really fun, and it just clicks with me. And speaking of mechanics that click with me, going back to Majora's Mask, I know, I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. I just forgot to mention this. I won't do this for the rest of the list. But in Majora's Mask, like, the different side quests, and the same thing could be said for Ocarina of Time and Oracle of Ages. The side quests in those games are great. In Majora's Mask's case, I love going to different time periods to do different things. That is awesome. That's why it's the top of B tier. And, yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say. I know I dabbled into other games, but I forgot to say it. Sorry. Then, Oracle of Seasons. So, this is gonna be complicated, because I've beaten the first dungeon of this game, and I feel like I don't know where to put this one. I put it above or back. Okay. I'll put it back. I thought a lot of people say that Seasons is better than Ages, but I feel like I like the animal partners, but like I said, I like the time traveling gimmick better. And well, yeah, they're practically the same games. It's like imagine like I know this is very recent, but Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, like they're the games that go like hand in hand with each other. It's pretty much what these guys are, and I like the Ages one better because I like the idea of going between different time periods because it's practically two different worlds if you really think about it. And Oracle of Seasons is one world in every like. It's like, you know how like Zelda, like when you're like traveling through the overworld and like you go up and then the screen goes whoop all the way to go up to the next like tile. It pretty much changes the season of every tile, and you have the ability to change the season and like solves puzzles and stuff, but I don't know, it doesn't click with me as much. Then right here is a really good game in my opinion. I put this right below. No, not above, below Majora's Mask. Now, the game's graphics, I feel like they have like a certain charm to them, and this is kind of like the sequel to Wind Waker in a way, and I love Wind Waker. Wind Waker is one of my favorites of all time, and, well, you know, not like the top 3 that I just talked about like earlier in the video, like, it's just a game, it's a Zelda game I like, and I feel like the sequel is perfect. I like the character of Linebeck, because Linebeck is really funny, and I love how his story in the end of the game, I won't spoil, it's that good. You can search on YouTube later if you want to find out. But I love his story, I love his character arc, I love going to the different islands, I love the different features, I love the items, I love the game. It's that good. There is one fault. That is the Temple of the Ocean King. And this doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people, but I feel like the Temple of the Ocean King, it's dreadful, but not as much as other people say it. I kind of like it better, because I feel like in the grand scheme of things, you go there after every dungeon, yeah, but like, if once you like look back, you don't really go to it as much as like people make it out to be. But that's just my opinion. You know, maybe someone else will play the game and be like, oh my god, this is so bad. But, you know, we all have our own opinions. Oh, okay. This one's gonna be very, very divisive. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. The motion controls. Motion controls on this game are honestly kind of bad. They're just bad. I gotta say that. However, the HD remake totally fixes every problem of this game, except the pumpkin mini game. Pretty much everything else is improved. It has been fixed, and oh yeah, I'm counting remakes, and it's great. And this game's story, I love it. I love how it's like, it's this weird blend between High School Musical and Zelda. If you play the game, you'll understand what I'm talking about 100%. I love flying through the sky on the Loft Wing. It's so much fun. And there's also a time traveling thing, but it's not as robust as Ocarina of Time and Oracle of Ages. It's kind of just like a little segment of the game. And it's kind of padding, but this game is so good if you play the remake. You have to play the remake, I'm telling you. Okay, now we have Spirit Tracks. Talk about a hidden gem with this one. Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. Why isn't it coming up here? Oh, there you go. Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks is so good. I love using the train. The music on the train is so good. And this is also actually kind of like like a point in Zelda that's like the only thing. So like what I'm saying is, after the Wind Waker in the timeline, there becomes this. After the water evaporates, it's called New. There's this land called New Hyrule. It's the only game in the quote unquote New Hyrule series, and I would love to see some sort of like expansion to this New Hyrule world, and this is so good. And you do go back to a temple after every single dungeon, but they fixed it, and I absolutely love that because the Temple of the Ocean King could get really annoying. And Zelda is actually the partner in this game. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'll zoom in on the video editing process later. But this right here, that's Zelda. She's possessing, I believe they're called Phantoms. Yeah, I believe they're called Phantoms. She possesses them in the dungeons, and like she uses them. And there's different ones. There's like attacking ones, defense ones. There's all sorts of different types, I believe, and it's so much fun. And Zelda has such a big personality in this game, and it's not seen anywhere else. And it's a great game. I feel like everything can be said for every Zelda game, almost every Zelda game. They're great games. Now Wind Waker, yes, the one I was talking about before. There we go. The Wind Waker. Try what? The Wind Waker is such a good game. Sailing is so much fun. The game's art style, back in the day people hated it because it wasn't realistic, but looking back at it, it is such a good art style. I love this game so much. And the different islands you go to, they're all fun and unique. You meet quirky characters. The dungeons are great, but that is the problem with the game. There's not enough dungeons. I honestly wish the game had more dungeons, because I know this game was made under a time limit, and so was Majora's Mask. But if this game only had a little more time in the oven, this would have been easily top S tier. It's that good. And if you have a GameCube or a Wii U, you need to play this game. And the Wii U remake looks absolutely chef's kiss. It's good. Alright, now... Triforce Heroes. So this is like a 3DS online Zelda game. And I think this game is fantastic if you play single player. This game is fantastic if you play in single player. Kind of. It's fun to swap between the characters, in my opinion. It's not fantastic at all, actually. It's kind of middle of the road. It's the top of C tier. I got this game on my birthday when I first got my 3DS, and it was the one game I never got to playing. I eventually ended up playing it, and I started off with the online mode, and so it says, are you a player that is as swift as an arrow, or it was like some other one, like slow as, or take my time, or whatever it was. If you choose as swift as an arrow, you're just going to get a bunch of players that pick your character up and throw you off the ledge. It's like, no. But if you get the other one, on the other hand, you're probably going to have a pretty decent time. But I think the single player is the way to go, because it's kind of fun to switch between links and do different things. I like the different costumes. I like how you do that. And it's probably like the one Zelda game I didn't get really far in. So, yeah. It's an okay game. Nothing more, let's move on. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I'd put this one right behind Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. And I know. But hear me out. The remake of Skyward Sword is phenomenal. I feel like Twilight Princess. It's just, I love the realistic, more mature kind of Zelda style in this game that we see. I like the idea of the Twilight Realm, and I like the lore that this game provided. And actually playing the motion controls in this game are actually really good, believe it or not. But it doesn't top Skyward Sword for me. Skyward Sword, I feel like, is like overflowing with content outside of the story. And I feel like, you know, Twilight Princess doesn't have much content outside of the story. And the story in this game is great, hence why it's an A tier. It's just, you know, does not that replayability once you finish. I mean, you can just make another save file and play the game again, but I'm more of like a one and done kind of gamer, except going back to do some fun stuff. But yeah, moving on to Four Swords, a game I have not played. I'm not sure if this is fair to rank, but I think I'm going to put it right behind Triforce Heroes. It feels like just a less developed version of Triforce Heroes. No. I feel like it's kind of just a less developed version of that game. Like, technically speaking, it's nothing more, nothing less. There's the extra player added into the mix, and the graphics are 32-bit. Fun. Oh, now we have Breath of the Wild. This is easily one of the best Zelda games of all time. One of the best video games of all time, even. It won Game of the Year of 2017, and there's a reason why it won. It's an open world game, and I feel like this is the pinnacle of open world video games. This is like the standard. This is, no, not the standard. This is like the above standard. This is so good. And after you finish the game, this game is literally stuffed to the seams with stuff to do. It's that replayable. There's so many side quests, there's so many shrines, there's so many, well, not so many memories, but it's so fun to look at the memories, with the voice acted cutscenes, which is incredible. I love all the champions, I love the bosses, I love this going through the game and finding something new. People are still finding new stuff about this game today. It's awesome. It's so good. And if you have a Switch and you don't have this game, that's a crime. This is, if every Switch owner, like, you at least need this game. It's that good. Okay. Moving on to Legends of the Minish Cap. I got this one for my birthday this year. And I'm gonna have to say bottom of A tier. I love the feature of shrinking down. It's so original. Every Zelda game has like a sort of two version gimmick. There's the past and there's the past and the future. There's seasons. There's the normal size, small size of this game. There's Link, Wolf Link. There's in the air and below the ground. Actually, I wouldn't count that one. But still, that point still stands. This game is really fun to play, and the story is pretty good. And it's also one of the games that actually doesn't have Ganon as its villain. It has this character named Vati, and this is also the second game in the Zelda timeline. And before this game actually starts, it gives you an opening about the hero of men, and I feel like that's the game that should come next in the Zelda series, is about that story, because we don't have that game yet. It's mentioned, but we don't have the story. And that the exciting possibilities for what this game provided and what it could build upon is so exciting to like imagine what a remake would look like, to imagine what a sequel would look like, to imagine everything. And also it answers the age-old question of why is there rupees in grass? Simple. Because the Minish put them there. Okay. Now, Legends of the Four Swords Adventures. This is, I feel like, just an improvement of Four Swords, and it's a multiplayer game, multiplayer Zelda game, and it's not an online game, it's just multiplayer, but you need a GameCube, a copy of this game, 4 Game Boy Advances, and, like, geez, like, that's, you need 4 link cables, and that's, like, almost, like, I think, like, $200 right there, and that's, like, I don't know, not really worth it. And yeah, Yeah. Nothing more, nothing less. Now we got Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. This game is also really fun. I'd put it right above Majora's Mask. Because this game is honestly really good. It's almost a one-to-one clone of A Link to the Past, but that's okay because it's a direct sequel almost. Not direct sequel, don't take place right after the game. It takes place in the same world, and I like the Dark World and the Light World of that being Hyrule and Lowrule, and I know that's kind of a cringy name, Lowrule. Whatever, it's still a fun game. And I also like the feature of Link like turning into a painting and going on the side of a wall. It sounds so weird on paper, but like it's actually really, really good. And I like how the items in this game are rental items, but you can buy them if you really want them. And you can do any dungeon in this game in any order you want. So there's no sort of like specific linear way you're supposed to go. It's all just have fun and do what you want. And I honestly love that. And this is my Zelda tier list. And I will put a link to this in the description for people who want to do this. And as always, like and subscribe. And peace out. This has been Mushroom Kingdom.